Christopher, we're going to continue, as this whole series of YouTube talks is concerned with, we're going to continue to explore the magic of being human. And the topic that I have chosen for this particular discussion is the topic of marriage. It can be argued that certainly in the human society, marriage is the archetype of our human relationships. Now, of course, one needs to be very careful and not place on that word marriage the limitations of only the Christian definition of it, when a man and a woman stand in front of one another and before God, before a priest, make certain commitments to one another. That is most decidedly one form of marriage, and a very important one. However, there are many other forms of marriage, and it is that I want to take into account. Marriage, for me, can simply be two people, two men, two women, a man and a woman, making a commitment to one another, to support one another and work, and we will come back to this in future talks over and over again, commit themselves to answering this question. How can I serve you? If you're not going to go into marriage, a committed relationship, with that question always on your lips, then what are you doing there? So, what is marriage? There are many definitions, of course, but the way that I want to approach it today, this morning, is by simply asking the question, why should we? Why should I look at you and you look at me and say, yes, let us commit, let us get married? Why should you? Well, like life, marriage too is a highly pragmatic process. Is there an element of mystery in it? Yes, but all mystery has its feet firmly in a reality. So for me, the first reason to get married, one of perhaps the most important ones, children. Be very clear that when I put this up on the board, I'm not saying that you should get married because of the children. You should get married to create an atmosphere that you can invite children into. Again, we will explore that in more depth in the ebook that you can download behind this particular discussion. Another reason for marriage. Companionship. It's lonely out there. And as we have said before in other discussions, we are in some way or another not designed to do this process of life alone. And there, we know this, those of us who've been married for some time, there can be great joy, great comfort in sitting before a crackling log fire on a cold winter's evening with one of you reading a book and the other one doing some knitting or tatting, and not too much actually being said. Another reason. We all know that everything shared is richer, whether it be a glass of wine, a concert, a walk in the park, or simply sitting and enjoying the view. Good reason to invite somebody into your space so that you can share. Another good reason for marriage. This is part of life, intimacy. It is part of our Our physicality, our sensuality is very much part of who we are. And there's not much point in doing it alone. It's a great deal more fun, it's a great deal richer when you share that with somebody else. Common vision, and tied up with that one, support. This is very important, because if your vision of life is totally divergent to mine, then there is very little chance of us ever getting together and making something sensible of the relationship into which we are about to commit ourselves. And if you don't know your vision, then you're going to need support. And what better support than somebody who is committed to giving you that support? And of course, that's one of the bases. Commitment. How are we doing? Those of you who are married, those of you who are contemplating marriage, do any of these vital bricks, do they form part of the structure? Have you talked about this? If you haven't, then I suggest that you do, that you get busy and sit down at the earliest available opportunity and say to your partner, why are you doing this? And be willing to share with them as to why you are doing it. And then embark upon one of the great adventures of life. Commit each to the other. Get married.